Hi, guys. Welcome back to Crime Time with Jess. So it looks like we're back in the courtroom. It is 4 o'clock, so we should be listening to his sentence at any given moment. Oh, they have subtitles. Thank Jesus. Great. Okay, awesome. So now we just wait. We just wait for the judge to pass down his sentencing. I'm not going to go on him because it's just too blurry. So I'm just going to stay off and hope that this isn't too choppy. I bet you he has. I wonder what kind of reaction he's going to have with his sentencing. I think his little army, his little groupies, his little cult followers, I think they've pumped his head up so much that he really thinks that. I mean, he was delusional enough to think that he wasn't actually even going to be charged with these murders or, any of this. I feel like he's delusional enough to think that they can help some get him out, and they're not. That woman's just collecting money. God knows what she's going to do with it, but hire him some big boy lawyer that's going to do what? Get him a retrial? Highly doubtful. Highly, highly doubtful. So the background, it kind of looks blue to me, but it's supposed to be purple for the victims. I haven't really seen any, I also haven't looked, but I haven't seen any coverage of outside the courtroom. Hi, Colleen. Thank you for coming back. Yeah, I haven't seen really any coverage of outside the courthouse. If his army of cultists showed up with their blue shirts and wristbands. Has anybody seen that? Has anybody seen anything of that? I hope if they are actually out there that they don't really cover them. Like, I hope they just barely show them. Make them unimportant. As unimportant as Wade thought his victims were. Come on, Judge. Come on, Judge Thomas. We are ready. And I want to see, like, who's in the courtroom. The family, who the families, any of Wade's little army he's done built up. I'd like to see who's in that courtroom. I don't think his dad was supposed to be there, right? But I think his adoptive parents may be there because they're supportive of him. Which, I was thinking about that last night after I did that live stream, and I was just thinking about, like, I understand that it would be really hard to face the fact that your son is a monster. Just thinking of my own children, that would be really hard to accept. But I just, if my son did the exact same thing that Wade did, I just would not be able to support them. I mean, I just wouldn't. Um, and and I thought to myself, I spent 60. I got the gist. You have nothing. You rely on everyone on the outside for everything. And I just thought about it. If my kid was on death row or life without parole, would I still financially support them? And I went back and forth in my head about that. Would I want them to have food? Yes, I guess, because it's a motherly instinct. But at the same time, you took two lives. I don't know. I have sympathy for the people. I would never want to be in their position, but I wouldn't show up in support of him at the courthouse. I just wouldn't. But that's just me. I don't even know that I want to go in on these people because I feel like that's a really tough thing. I think it's good that they've stayed out of the media. I think it's good that they're not, running their mouths and, oh, he's innocent. I think all of that is good. Them staying in the media is really the best thing that they could do. If they privately support him and have their feelings, that's fine. But if they came out publicly supporting him, I think you guys already know what would happen. They would they would get chewed up and spit right back out. Um, so smart of them to do what they did. And I kind of was wondering like what the adoptive parents think of Wade's biological dad. Hi, Justice Jane. So good to see you, ma'am. I really wonder what the 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 adoptive parents think of biological dad because his biological dad was a huge part of taking him down. So I wonder they still support Wade. He testified against him. So do you think that they have any kind of anger towards him? I just wonder about that. Or like thoughts of you didn't even raise him, and then here you are putting him in jail for the rest of his life, even though he put himself in jail. His dad did not do that. But I just wonder if they have any animosity, anything. 99 problems but crime ain't one, Jen. I love your name. Hey there, love your covers. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm actually really sleepy today. Very sleepy. Um, Not as spunky as I usually can be, but I've been this is way off topic, but I've been taking a weight loss shot called semaglutide, similar to Ozempic, but it's not Ozempic. But it the side effect of it is fatigue. Angelo is saying, "Hey Jess, do you know if the death is on the table?" Yes, it absolutely is, Angelo. He is going to get one of two sentencings. He's either going to get the death penalty or he is going to get life without parole. Either way, dead man walking. So Colleen didn't sleep much. Yeah, I really didn't. I was up really early this morning. My kids' buses aren't sorted out yet. So I had to drive both of them to school, and I didn't get to live stream the Timu doctor earlier, which clearly I didn't miss much, except for a very sassy, zesty little man. But I wasn't going to miss this. I really wanted to take a nap. I'm not going to lie. This is my day off. I go back to work tomorrow, and the kids are in school, and it would just have been really nice to take a nap. But no, I gotta see this through. Gotta see what this is going to get. So, what do you think, Angelo? Now that you know that the death penalty is on the table, do you think he's going to get it, or do you guys think he's going to get life without parole? Yes, it was such a snooze fest, Jeff. Good gracious. I was like, but the only highlights for me was him getting snappy, even with the judge. I mean, he was talking really low, and his mouth is tiny, and it's like he doesn't open his mouth wide enough when he speaks. So when the judge was asking him, like, can you like stop, or can you like re-say that? Like, I didn't hear what you said. He was getting sassy with the judge. I mean, he was like turning and staring the judge down and and repeating what he said. The nerve. I mean, he's being paid to be there. The state witnesses are not paid, but that man was paid to be there, you know. And I think he did try to say a little something with, Oh, yeah. Oh, I met Wade in person. Well, I guess you could say that. He was behind a glass. He was shackled, and he needs to be shackled. He randomly murders people for no reason. I mean, those shackles might have saved your life there, little sassy pants. Jen. Oh yeah, they hurt more than help Wade. I think he will get life. You think life? Hmm. I think death, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. I kind of like people that have opposing, thoughts than mine, because then we get to see like, oh, you know. But yeah, I think he will. I don't see any reason why he won't get the death penalty. That's kind of why I think he's going to get it. And I think, all of he shows no remorse for his crimes. He just shows nothing. That'll go into a judge's determination. How has this man acted over the last 5 years that he's been in jail waiting to be sentenced, or waiting, for trial and all of that. He's never shown remorse, ever. So I think that I hope the judge lays into him. I really do. And I hope the judge kind of tells him off. I don't know if you guys watched the Daybell trial, but I was kind of disappointed because the judge really laid into Lori, but he didn't say anything to Chet. Just nothing. It was almost like I have nothing to say to you, sir. You go to death row. Goodbye. We're done here. Jen is saying we need a calendar. Start taking bets on how long he survives. I know. I shouldn't laugh at that, but the Unforgiven gang allegedly has hits already put out on him. So who knows? But he's just looking like, bring it on. I think he's trying to put on a brave face, but I did notice that he was breathing pretty heavily when he came into the court for the doctor. But it just, I don't know. It's like it quickly changed as soon as he seen the blonde lawyer and tried to, put his chair up next to her, and she got away from him. He's such a scumbag. Yeah, I think he's stressed. I think he's stressed, but he's just trying to put on this brave face. I mean, but either way they go, you're screwed. You're just done. Hang it up. Stick a fork in it. You're done. I mean, it's not like the option of life with the possibility of parole is on the table. I mean, that's at least something to hope for. He has really nothing to hope for, because no matter which way this judge goes, there's not a possibility that he's ever getting out of prison. So if I were him, I would just already feel dead. What are to live for? That is like the number one thing that a human being has to have is hope. If you lose hope, you just kind of fall apart. He has nothing to hope for. Honey buns, what does he have to hope for? He has nothing to truly live for. Jenna's saying he makes me drier. I have used this line. He makes me drier than the Sahara Desert. I don't get the appeal. Girl, I have literally said the same thing. I just, especially his ridiculous tattoos all over his face. I don't see it. Somebody asked me in a live stream the other day if he had not committed the crimes he committed, would I find him to be attractive? And I said, well, yeah, I mean, minus the face tattoos. And he didn't strangle two women to death. If I had passed him on the street, I would think, yeah, he's a decent looking guy. But knowing what I know about him, I don't care if you look like, 1997 Brad Pitt. I don't care if you look like 2000, 14, 15 Justin Bieber. I don't care. Your character, your soul is ugly. It is dark and black and ugly. And it's he's like demonic. I swear. They all look at him. He's they I did a live stream last night where his cult, I just call him his cult. But his cult, somebody said, "Oh, he's so handsome. He's so good looking." And the little cult leader that runs the little group, Maria, she was like, "He is handsome, isn't he?" Where? Where where on this man do you see handsomeness? His eyes are cold and dead. His eyes are cold and dead. When he stares, I'm telling you, there's nothing behind them eyes. And then the rest of the face, where's the attraction? Where's the appeal? And especially knowing how violent he is towards women, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that guy. You know? Jen is saying we're on the same page. And his evil laugh. Yes, girl. I cannot stand that laugh. God, it's so fake. It is the fakest laugh ever. And Jen is saying, now Kiosk Kristen is trying to get a PO. I know. Listen, trying to get a restraining order against Jumpsuit Pablo. I don't really know what she thinks that's gonna do. Like he is allowed to react to jailhouse phone calls that are being published on YouTube. He's allowed to do that. It's not illegal. He's not doing anything wrong. He can give any kind of commentary. And it's very rich coming from someone like her who has said awful, awful things. And she can't take somebody giving her a little dose of her medicine. She cannot take it. Justice Jane saying, I think he thinks he has this team weight cushion, and that's going to help appeal him out of there because it's over 60K, right? Yeah, they're up to like 70. I think it's 71,000 that they're up to now. And I think the same. I agree with you on that. I think he's got it in his head that somehow this army of women that he's amassed is going to help him somehow get out. And it's just so far-fetched. It's not happening. There's no reason for him to get a new retrial, like none. What reasons, what grounds do they have to have a whole new trial? Justice Jane is saying, I don't think he's cute at all. His soul is cold. Yes, it is. Really, Justice Jane? Justice Jane I think that Kristen is behind this team weight crap. Do you really? That's interesting. That is interesting. Jen is saying, did you see any of them there at the sentencing? I didn't see one. No, no, that's what I was saying. I wonder who is there in support of him. Hi, Jess. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you could make it. And Jen is also saying to Justice Jane, I think. Apparently, Kristen, she's talking about Kiosk Kristen, said she has not talked to him since 2019. Yes. Aww. You have been a member forever. Thank you, Jess. Thank you for your support. And I'm glad you're loving all the lives. I just need to do something about my Wi-Fi. I complain about it every single live stream, but it's really like screwing me up. I mean, I'm fully back into my channel and it's choppy and blurry, and it's just, messing with my mojo, basically. But yes, we are definitely Team No Wade over here. Um, so the live stream that I did last night, right? I guess people are afraid, quote unquote, to react to that woman's lives, Maria lives and stuff. I guess they're afraid. And she literally threatened other creators last night. And basically said, if you are a creator that is airing these phone calls, you could be held liable. Like, what? How? What? Yeah, the J team. Hey, all the J's. Jen, Jane, Jess, and Jess. That's awesome. Yeah, Grandma calls you Jess too. I don't know where Grandma is. I expect her to be here. I don't know where she is. I think she'll pop up. But yeah, so I guess this woman's like already threatening creators to not air the phone calls. Who are you, lady? Who are you to tell people that they cannot react to the jail phone calls? That somehow we're going to be held liable? Listen, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to need to attempt to sue, and every single one of them is going to be thrown out. That's not your content. That content comes from phone calls from jail. They are perfectly okay with everyone sharing them and reacting to them and all of that. They're not striking anybody's channel or doing anything like that. So what are you going to do? Take people to court and say what exactly? This YouTuber used this other YouTuber's phone calls, public information phone calls from jail of this guy that I'm trying to help in jail. We want to sue this person. I mean, it's just ridiculous. you know? Yes, thank everyone for being here. Actually, when I was listening to her do her little veiled threat last night, I was thinking to myself, you're already threatening creators. This isn't gonna go well. This is not gonna go well because I can already tell like she doesn't exactly know what she's doing on YouTube yet. But she's the type of person that's gonna start trying to strike channels and do things like that. I don't see that channel staying up very long. Because if I was one of the channels she struck, I would absolutely fight it 100%. Here's all my information. Here's my name. Here's where I live, and I'm fighting this. That strike is going right back channel. That's happening right now in the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. Gypsy Rose Blanchard has struck a couple channels, Flawless Nina and Conspiracy. And they're kind of losing their minds a little bit. They're like, you only have a couple options. What you do? You can leave the strike on, or you can appeal it. And if you appeal it, your information, your name, where you live, all of that is given to. They're afraid to give Gypsy their information and fight break. I would do that so fast. She can't even leave Louisiana. She can't even leave state. What's she gonna do about it? Come to your house? I doubt it. You know. So Janice. Oh, sorry. Jen is saying it may be different here in Canada, but that lady needs to go to law school. I know. And look shit up. Her life was full of misinformation. And I'm still waiting for Wade's Truth to come out. Wade's Truth came out. She's so full of it. Oh, we're going to give Wade a chance. Up, we're starting.
Fortunately, we. All right, Let the record reflect that State's President, Defense Counsel, and the defendant are all present. We're here for sentencing. Was there anything else that the court needed to address prior to sentencing?
No. No.
All right. So I have considered all of the testimony and evidence, arguments of counsel, applicable case law, and statutes. I have prepared a written sentencing order, which I'll file contemporaneously with the announcement of the sentence here today. I also have copies for the state and defense, which I'll hand out once I conclude. So in the state of Florida versus Stephen Wade Wilson, or Wade Stephen Wilson, case number 19 CF 568, the court will read aloud the portion of the sentencing order related to the sentencing circumstances and proportionality. In evaluating the aggravating and mitigating factors, the court does not engage in a mere counting procedure, but instead makes a reasoned judgment based on the totality of the circumstances. In reaching this decision, that because death is a unique punishment in its finality, its application is reserved only for those cases where the most aggravating and least mitigating circumstances exist. The law never requires the imposition of a death sentence. In this case, the totality of the circumstances indicates the defendant, with premeditation, beat and strangled Kristine Melton in her home before stealing her vehicle and driving to meet his girlfriend, Melissa Montanez. After Montanez refused to get into the car with him, the defendant battered her in broad daylight. The defendant told law enforcement, when Ms. Montanez managed to flee from the defendant, he fled the scene and drove back to Cape Coral, decided that he would murder another person. He saw Diane Ruiz walking to work and pulled over, pretending to ask for directions. She got into the car to provide directions, but the defendant strangled her when she tried to exit. He then drove to an empty lot, strangling her into unconsciousness at least one additional time on the way there. When she tried to flee from the car, he drove over her at least one time, inflicting mortal injuries to her spine, ribs, and neck. The evidence showed that both murders were heinous, atrocious, and cruel, and that the second murder was cold, calculated, and premeditated. The defendant inflicted serious physical and emotional pain to the victims. Moreover, the defendant committed the murders while on
This ring is killing me.
probation for prior felony convictions, and he committed 2 first-degree murders contemporaneously with each other and with grand theft of a motor vehicle, battery, and burglary of a dwelling. There were no statutory mitigating circumstances that were established, but the court considered the non-statutory mitigating circumstances presented by the defendant. Out of 13 enumerated non-statutory mitigating factors, the court found that 10 had been established. Out of those established, 6 were given little weight. The totality of the mitigating circumstances indicates that the defendant suffers from drug use from a young age, along with undiagnosed and untreated mental health issues of some kind. He felt abandoned by his biological parents, had to adopt a family who raised him in a supportive and loving environment. Defendant did not resist law enforcement when arrested and confessed fully to both murders. The court has further considered giving great weight to the advisory verdict of the jury, who recommended that the death penalty be imposed by a vote of 9-3 on count 1 for the murder of Kristine Melton and a vote of 10-2 on count 4 for the murder of Diane Ruiz. The court recognizes that there is no mathematical formula for considering the aggravating and mitigating factors. It is not enough to weigh the number of aggravators against the number of mitigators. The court carefully considered the nature and quality of each aggravator mitigator. Having reviewed all of the aggravating factors proven beyond a reasonable doubt and all of the mitigating circumstances reasonably established by the evidence, the court finds that the aggravating factors greatly outweigh mitigating circumstances. Given the facts of the case, nothing in defendant's background or mental state would suggest that a death sentence is inappropriate. This court's review of other reported capital cases has led the court to conclude that the death penalty is not disproportionate in this case. Under the totality of the circumstances and evidence, the court finds no basis to override the jury's verdict. The totality of the circumstances warrants that the defendant, Wade Stephen Wilson, be sentenced to death for each count.
Well, the buffering is terrible. I apologize, guys. He's death penalty. Done. Nothing I can really do but just let it buffer, which is super frustrating for me. So, but Wade Wilson.
First degree. Accordingly, it is ordered in the judge that the defendant, Wade Stephen Wilson, be sentenced as follows. Count 1, first degree murder of Kristine Melton. The defendant is hereby sentenced to death. Count 2, grand theft of a motor vehicle. The defendant is sentenced to 5 years imprisonment in the Florida Department of Corrections. Count 3, battery. The defendant is hereby sentenced to 364 days in Lee County Jail. Count 4, first degree murder of Diane Ruiz.
Oh my goodness. This is really driving me nuts. Just play it.
The defendant is hereby sentenced to death. Count 5, the burglary of a dwelling. The defendant is hereby sentenced to 15 years imprisonment in the Florida Department of Corrections. Count 6, petty theft. The defendant is hereby sentenced to 364 days in Lee County Jail. The defendant is given credit for all time served on this case on all counts. All counts are to run concurrent with each other, meaning at the same time. All statutorily mandated fines, fees, and costs as announced on the record are imposed, and the defendant is committed to the custody of the Department of Corrections for execution of this sentence as provided by law. The defendant is hereby notified that these convictions and sentences are subject to automatic review by the Florida Supreme Court. If he cannot afford an attorney to represent him in any appeal, the court will appoint one for him. Are there any other matters to present to the court?
Briefly, Judge, the state would be seeking $17,500 cost of prosecution.
I'm sorry, how much?
$17,500, Judge.
All right. Any objection?
No, sir.
All right. That will be imposed then. Any other terms or conditions?
Absolutely, Judge. We just want to make sure that Mr. Wilson has absolutely no contact with the victim's family.
There'll be no contact ordered with any of the victim's family members and anything else.
There are. Thank you.
All right.
Judge.
Huh. Look at that face. Oh, come on. Jesus.
Here, Wilson has the court within whatever authority you have to get him to death.
To get him to death row as what? Oh, this is pissing me off.
Okay. Well, in relation to those other cases, I know we have cases pending here in the circuit. Today is not the day to handle those. I would maybe.
Oh my God, it's buffing every 2 seconds. Yay.
Put those, I could do it as early as September 16th. I believe that's Monday morning.
Well, I wait. I'm just going to stop it because it's done. Bye-bye. See you, Wade. Off to death row you go, sir. See ya. I knew he was going to get the death penalty, and I'm glad he did. I wonder why his lawyer wants him there as soon as possible. They know, well, at least, little groupies last night. Oh, he's going to be in protective custody. He's going to be safe. Well, he'll be safer on death row than he will be out in general population. So, yeah, all this retrial crap that they're trying to do, it's not happening, dude. It's not going down like that. Wade Wilson gets the death penalty. Hip hop hooray. And I hope that they severely restrict his communications. I like that the prosecution asked for 17,000. Is Maria his little cult leader? Is she gonna be giving up some of them funds to pay off that 17,000? Yep, game over. Bye bye, Wade. And you know what? He's probably gonna be on the phone or try to be on the phone tonight, saying to somebody, whoever he's got hooked online now, oh, I know. Oh my God, Wade, you were sentenced to death. I know, baby, I know. But I think they took away his phone privileges. So I don't even know if he's even going to be allowed to call anyone. I have no idea. Can you imagine getting sentenced to death and you can't even call anyone or say anything? Like, I mean, yeah. Oh, that's her cut. Yeah, the 17,000. I think she's going to take the rest. Wow. Well, um, I'm not surprised just because there wasn't any reason not to give him the death penalty. So, yep, I think game over perfectly describes it. And I think his little cult group will eventually fall off because none of them women sticking around for years and years through all these appeals that he's going to attempt to do or try to do or have to do. They're not doing all that. If they can't see the writing on the wall, the judge just said in open court, he gave a full confession to these murders. Okay. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. I so apologize for the crappy Wi-Fi. I really apologize for that. If it buffered badly, because it was buffering badly for me, so I can imagine what it sounded like to you guys. My apologies. But yeah, Colin, I think they will all eventually just slither off, slither away. Because what are you going to stick around for? You're just going to keep pumping money into him and for what? Yeah, for what reason? To try to get him a new trial he's never going to get? He's not that damn cute. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. Yep. He did say that. You're welcome, Leopard Print. Thank you, guys. I'm getting off now. And peace out, Wade. You'll never strangle or hurt another woman ever again. Bye for now, guys. Gotta go pick